Last year, this woman lost her husband, so she went on to write a book about how to cope with losing a loved one for kids. She then went on to a national TV show, but just a few days ago, she was charged with This is probably one of the wildest stories I've covered in a long time, and the woman that we're covering today, her name is KiIIed. And it starts with Corey's side of the story, where she told the police that she made her husband a Moscow Mule to celebrate the sale of some house before he went to bed. Then she claimed that one of her sons had a nightmare, so she spent the night in his room until about 3 a.m. when she woke up. She went and checked on her husband, and she found him without a pulse. She then called 911, and when the cops finally showed up, they tried to save him, but with no luck, so he was pronounced dead on the scene. A thing that stood out to the police, though, she told them that she left her phone in the bedroom with her husband when she went into her son's room. Clearly, things seemed a little bit off for a dude in his 30s to just randomly die in his sleep, and conveniently, his wife was not there. But the police then left the house and started investigating, and while they were investigating, a whole year went by. And during this year, she wrote a book on how to cope with losing a loved one made for kids. But apparently, the book had some success because she even went on to a news station to promote the book. And this segment is incredibly weird, especially now knowing what happened. Because conveniently for her, it was left out that she allegedly him.
No matter if it's a parent, a sibling, or a friend, talking about loss with kids can be a tricky subject. Joining us now is author of Are You With Me? KiIIed to share her 3 C's to helping kids cope with grief. And Corey, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us. And he was 39. It completely took us all by shock.
Well, except for you. This is some real psychopathic behavior. I mean, you go on to off your husband, then lie to your kids, then write a book with your kids on how to deal with the grief that you created, then to go on to national TV to promote it to the rest of the world and lie to them as well. I mean, she's insane, but it gets so much worse.
And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year, and hoping that it can kind of help other kids.
Not only did she do that to her husband, but she did that to her kids, and then she tortured her kids to go through all those emotions again to write this book for the pain that she caused. She completely tore apart their family, ending the father's life early, and now she's probably gonna get 20 plus years in a concrete box. And now the kids have to live with her soulless actions. I am beyond heartbroken for them.
Deal with this and kind of, find happiness some way or another.
What a selfish human being. I don't think I've ever covered a more garbage person in my life.
And to make sense and process, I'm sure. And I'm sure you felt that going through and trying to explain it and articulate it for you and your boys.
Yes, exactly. And so I've done, I'm new to all of this, so kind of doing, research and reading books and things to try and understand, not only how to grieve as a widow, as a wife, but also, with my kids, how to help them understand what just happened. And what I have kind of found is, as I mentioned, it's kind of the 3 C's is how I visualize it. And it's, connection, continuity, and care.
Yeah, those are 3 things you took away from your kids. It's awful that this happened, but you hear about things like this, but you don't hear about this happening, then the mother making a book on how to cope with the grief that she created with her kids, then go on to national TV to promote it. And it's her fault to begin with. It's insane. It's like, it's so insane, it's laughable.
And Corey, do you mention at dinner, here's dad, or dad would like this meal, or dad would, let's bring dad on a bike ride?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, explaining to my kid, just because he's not present here with us physically, that doesn't mean his presence isn't here with us, and he's doing these things with us. And he's, here for birthdays, and he's here for Christmas, and, and it's just comforting to them to know that, they're not living this life alone.
Well, I mean, he would have been here if he weren't a terrible human. I hope the judge throws the book at her because she is a terrible, soulless human being. My blood is boiling from just looking at this case. I hope the kids have family members who love them and actually have the financial resources to take care of all 3 of them, so they don't have to get divided up through the terrible system process. What an absolute nightmare. The mother just dealt them the worst cards possible. How stupid is this woman to think that she would actually get away with something something like this. How is this not just pure self-destruction? You're completely ruining your family and your own life. Like, where's the upside here? And she's not even like emotional during this. If I was like one of the hosts, I would be having a million red flags go off in my head. Like, how are you so okay with talking about your husband passing only a year after he passed on national TV without even tearing up a little bit? Yeah, that's rhetorical because she did it, but oh.
And it's only been a year. How did you process and say you go from processing death to I need to write a book and help others?
You know, I just watched the struggle that my kids were going through. And I actually, I went on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and trying to find something that we could use to cope at nights. Nights are the hardest, it seems like, for everybody when, dealing with anything. But I just wanted some story to read to my kids at night. And I just could not find anything. I couldn't find anything that really, suited them or helped them find comfort and peace.
Her kids' worlds were just turned upside down again. The fact that she went onto TV to lie like this is just beyond baffling. I don't think I've ever been more disgusted covering a topic.
It's just that affirmation of, I understand like that you are upset, because of this, like, let's talk about it, and so I think really, it's not, it's the emotional and physical touch of it, but really letting your kids understand that why they're feeling the way that they are feeling, and it's okay, and let's deal with it and talk about it.
But because of what actually happened, it looks like she'll be living rent-free for a long time. Because I guess it's time to go over what the investigators found. Remember her cell phone that she claimed was left in their bedroom while she was in the kids' room? Apparently that wasn't true, because she was texting someone while she was in her kids' room, and then she deleted the messages from her phone. The police tracked down this person and found out they apparently dealed her fets, and investigators believe that she put that fet in her husband's drink that she made him. As the autopsy showed, he had 5 times the lethal dose in his system. Then to add to everything, a sibling of the husband claimed that he told her that Corey had tried to end his life previously by giving him a drink that made him violently ill. Also alleging that Corey tried to change the family trust to make Corey the sole benefactor of the trust, meaning essentially if something happens to the husband, all the money goes to her and not the kids. Then to add to the evidence, the day after the husband died, she bought a $2 million house that they previously fought over because he didn't want to buy it because he claimed it was too expensive. Then finally, according to the warrants that KPCW viewed, the husband was planning on filing a divorce but passed away before any of the divorce proceedings began. So it looks like Corey will be moving from a multi-million-dollar house to a multi-million-dollar facility, and I hope she rots in it. But if you want to see something a little bit less serious, this man became one of the largest TikTok frauds in just a couple months and even scammed a grieving family. So that is one wild story because that's a rabbit hole. The video kind of starts off normal, but as it progresses, it just gets more and more insane. So I definitely recommend checking it out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'm not as nasally because these pollen allergies have me messed up and I can't even breathe through my nose at this point. So hopefully I can breathe through my nose in the next video. Peace.